It's the Circuit of the Americas just outside of downtown Austin, which keeps up its promise to be, well, just a little bit weird. Great music, great food, and a fine welcome to the stars, cars and teams of the IMSA paddock. Right in the heart of the Lone Star State, the Circuit of the Americas has played host to Formula One and to the MotoGP series, but this weekend it's all about sports cars. 20 corners make up the 3.4-mile circuit. The signature climb to the first left-hander. Plenty of different ways to get through that one. Then the Serpentine S's down towards turn 11. A bit of follow my leader down there before there's another outbraking area, and then turn 12 at the end of the long back straight. Well, it's very bumpy down there, and it's been a real challenge to all of the drivers. I'm John Hindhaugh. Jeremy Shaw is alongside me. The cars are out on the circuit on their second formation lap. Now, as they come to the line, they've just finished their first and begin their second. When they cross underneath the bridge, it will be the start and finish line used in the same place, and it would seem at the moment as the McLaren of Paul Holton, the 76 car, is just trying to tell the safety car driver to go just a little bit quicker. The 69 car is not there, Jeremy, so 76 McLaren from 28 Porsche, then the McLaren of the 77 team with Matt Keegan on board, then the brand new Chevy GT4. This is driven by Matt Bell, the 57 car. It looks an absolute picture in these colours. Stevenson Motorsport done a great job.
Yeah, as that team, you know, they've championship pedigree. Of course, they won this championship 2 years ago with the previous generation of this car. That was a 7-litre Z28R Camaro. This time with a newer GT4 car, it's still got a pretty meaty lump in there, 6.2-litre LS3 Chevy stock block engine, but it's a little bit smaller and a little bit more wieldy perhaps than the older Z28R, and this is the future of GT4 racing. This is the latest of the marks to join in the fray in GT4.
Yeah, that Camaro has been on a bit of a diet, hasn't it?
Yeah.
500 pounds later. I need to know what that one's been eating. That I could do with a wee bit of that. Maybe it's just the low carb thing, doing the same thing. They've gone fuel injection. It's no carb on that one.
No carb. Yeah, very good. Very good. And what's amazing to me is the fact that I was assured yesterday they only pressed the green light for this GT4 program in August last year. And they only started really work on it in September. Remarkable to have that short of a gestation period for a car that's as important as this moving forward, with GT4 now employed around the world.
Two categories, the ST, the street tuner category from 16 down over. The Mini, number 73, the John Cooper Works car, will start at the head of the field there. Alongside that, the 34 Mazda, then another Mazda, the 25 Freedom Motorsport car. Chad McCumbee starts that car. Sarah Cattaneo in the 44 Nissan. That one's easily spotted. It's a bright purple colour. That's another front-wheel drive car, and they'll have to be careful with their tyres. The Porsche Fresno sponsored CJ Wilson cars close to the front, very much on home ground this weekend. The 33 being started by Till Bechtelsheimer, a driver who is relatively new to this form of racing, but has been racing historic cars for quite some time. Indeed, last weekend raced 4 different cars at the Donington Historic Festival. Very different cars to each other and to what he's doing here. 2 hours, not a long endurance race, as the Mini of Austin number 73 goes through at the head of the ST class through turn number 15. Not a long race, Jeremy, but enough for tactics to play out, and minimum drive times here of 45 minutes for non-pro drivers.
That's exactly right, and all of the cars running, particularly in ST, smaller fuel tanks this season, just to make sure it's not an easy strategic call for them to make. Many of the teams, even in ST, will have to make one full pit stop and one splash, and same for the GS car. So that is going to make strategy very important, and whether or not there is a full course caution to aid the team's strategic calls.
Drivers left is Paul Holton as they come out the 20th and final corner, the left-hander. I can look out of the booth window. It's a beautiful start, 2 by 2, absolutely together. One or two people further back starting to try and break ranks, but Paul Holton pushes the pedal and goes at the green flag for the Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge here at the Circuit of the Americas, and his job is partially done as he gets to the apex of turn 1 first, but he's got a challenge round the outside from Dylan Murcott in that 28 Porsche, but it's been repelled early on, and it will be the pole sitter who goes through turn 3 and beyond, leading out this 31 car field. Should have been 32, but the 69 GS McLaren is not on the grid.
Oops.
Oh, a little bit wide there for Matt Bell, who's up into 3rd position. He's pushed the aero paints. Keegan, oh, and off. That is the 21 car, isn't it?
Yes, it is. That's Chuck Quinton. I was just about to talk about him, John, because he made an incredible start. He lined up on the grid in the 13th position. He was 6th before he got either spun off or helped off there.
Well, he was going very quickly, but he's managed to get that car out of the gravel, so no harm, no foul in terms of the rest of the runners and riders, but he will have to clean off his Continental tyres, get his heart rate back down, and then get back into the rhythm of the race. Smashing start from Paul Holton. Just not quite sure what happened. Maybe caught the inside curb, the 21 car. That Porsche spinning off, and the back wheels just in the gravel. Very lucky, that Milner Motorsports American car, to get out of the gravel there, with Chuck getting hard on the accelerator to get him out.
Yeah, a relative newcomer to the sport. So his ex-pro snowboarder and golfer is Chuck Quinton, and now getting his first taste.
Presumably not at the same time.
Not at the same time, but so he's used to be driving, used to being in professional sports, but this is just his 2nd car race.
Snowboarding while golfing, the best sport ever, I reckon. A great battle on for 3rd position with Matt Bell fighting off the 77 of Matt Keegan. The two Matts there, both in dark cars. The Camaro with the red Go Faster stripe down the side. That's very evocative, isn't it? And just behind them, the 59 of Jack Rouse Jr. in the Core Motorsport Mustang. So a couple of bits of Detroit iron with English Exotica in the middle as the filling in that sandwich. Chevy, McLaren, Ford. At the head of the field, it's McLaren, Porsche. Before that, Chevy of Matt Bell, who's just bought himself a little thinking room for the time being in that 57 Stevenson Camaro. That thing does look very, very good and very menacing indeed. See that coming up behind you. You'd want to defend fairly quickly. At the head of the ST field, new leader there, the pole sitter. That 73 Mini couldn't hold on to it. And Derek Jones has given best to the 34 Murillo Racing MX-5 Mazda, driven by Chris Stone. And that little yellow, orange and white car has got ahead of the Mini.
And also in the Mini,
we've got a stopped car on the racetrack, the 37
that is kind of a 37. It's pulled off, I think, just a roundabout start-finish, and he was very, very slow coming out of the final corners to complete that run. So former series champion Mike Lamara, very unfortunate start to this race for him.
Car is rolling again. That's the good news. When was the last time you saw a Mini look large in the company of other sports cars? There is the 37 Mini going to corner number 1, and it's still not quite up to speed. At the battle at the head of the ST field, Chris Stone ahead, and then the 73 Mini. It will be a waiting game for the front-wheel drive cars. You can't burn off those Continental tyres on the front. They are very durable racing rubber, but when you've got to put the steering effort and the power through the single set of wheels, it does tend to put extra pressure on them. So 34, 73 and 25, your top 3. Then the 84 BMW's right in there as well. James Clay in the black and white BMW. That BMW with James Clay on board, the 84 car, part of the Bimmer World Racing 328 team. They have 2 cars in this championship. The STs, as ever, providing a really good battle for the more street stock cars. Those MX-5 tunes within an inch of their life, not transitioned across to the new shape ND MX-5 yet. These are still the venerable NCs with the hardtop, although I have seen the racing hardtop for the NDs, and my goodness, it looks good. Thanks to Long Road Racing, had a go in a MX-5 Global Cup car at Road Atlanta last year. Thoroughly enjoyed it, a very capable racing car. Just wonder when we'll see, if we'll see that car coming into this championship, or at least that shape car. Bit of a mistake coming off the final corner there, and I think there was a bit of a touch on the back of the Mini by the Mazda, and the Mazda has come off the worst there and has dropped 1, 2, 3 places.
Number 40.
44 in the pit lane. Sarah Catania with the bonnet up.
Whoops. Maybe someone didn't do up the hood properly on that car. I hope that wasn't the case, but certainly the hood was right up against the windscreen. Nothing she could see. And yeah, that Mini was... the Mini was definitely... No, it was a Mazda, wasn't it? Big
Mazda, I think, ran into the back of the Mini coming out of the
fine.
final corner, and I think there might be a guard, a fender rubbing on the left front side of that, or he fluffed the gear change and lost all his momentum. Certainly had to sharpen his line through the final corner and probably scrub off a bit of speed. I may be doing the driver a disservice there, Chad McCumbee. He may not have run into the back of it, but certainly it wasn't a good exit from the final corner.
No, he lost a lot of momentum. He might have missed a gear or something, but certainly as they came past our booth here, the kind of beginning of the pit lane, the car had no real momentum at all.
Let's get down to our Continental Tire pit lane reporters. We'll start with the 44 Nissan Altima and Jim Roller.
Well, the front windscreen is smashed. I don't know. The crew is very upset. They're putting tape down on the bonnet. It has come back very hard against the windscreen. The windscreen is just spiderwebbed and smashed. See if I can get a word with Owen. I'll go back to you, John.
Thanks, Jim. As a change for the lead-in ST for a moment.
Briefly.
It looked like the Jones the Mini got through just for a moment. That's Derek Jones, the man from Philadelphia, ahead of Christopher Stone in the Mazda, and tries to now have to defend at turn 15 as the 21 Porsche gets in on the act. This is the car that's coming back from the first lap incident. Chuck Quinton is a GS car, so should be able to pick his way through, and is. Now, can Derek Jones just hang on to the back of that Porsche and maybe use him as a little bit of a snowplow? Bit of a gap back to third in ST now, where the 84 BMW leads another little gaggle of cars. James Clear from Chad McCumbee, and then Nick Gallant. Tell you what, there's a couple of other GS cars in there. There's the 46 TGM car is in there, which has got Hugh Plum driving it, and Ted Giovannis is in there as well. So 2 of the TGM cars. Now I wonder if they were affected by the 21 Porsche, the Quinton Porsche, from going off earlier on, but certainly they have become mired in the ST. At the head of the field, the 76 of Paul Holton leads by 2.8 seconds. Back to Jim Roller for the story on the Nissan.
Well, it's gone from bad to worse. The windscreen is damaged so badly, they're not going to let that car continue that way. They've gone behind the garage area. Now, they can replace the windscreen, but for all intents and purposes, their day is done, even if they do decide to do that. So, rough break. Owen said they think there was some contact on the first lap in the right front, and that dislodged the pins, and it broke one of the pins, and then the other one just gave out under the pressure.
That's really unfortunate for that CRG I Do Borrow team, because the car's been fast everywhere. They had no luck at all last year. Various mechanical gremlins halting their progress from on a fairly regular basis, unfortunately. But this year the car has been running well, and really unfortunate to have that incident on the very first lap of the race and to put them right out of contention. Yeah,
it really has. Quite impressed with Chuck Quinton coming back, the man from Windermere, Florida. And those of you who drive down from Orlando to Sebring will have seen the signs for Windermere as you head down the interstate. Depends which way you go. Okay, 25 Mazda embroiled in a rail battle at the moment inside the top 5 of ST. And well, the first corner was very, very interesting indeed. Other problems to start with, the 37 Mini with an issue. Jim Roller has this Continental Tire pit lane update.
Hair dryer's broken.
Turbo
Bruce. Yep.
Thank you, Jim. Yeah, it will be frizzy hair for the rest of the day then for the 37 and 37 Mini in the hands of James Vance and Mike Lamar. That's a shame, because Mike was doing a great job in qualifying earlier on. Really, really good start by Paul Holton, who has built himself a 2.7 second lead now from Dylan Mercer in second place in the 28 Porsche. Then Matt Keegan has re-established himself in third in the McLaren, which is where he qualified, but he lost out going down the hill to turn 2 on the first lap to Matt Bell in the Chevy Camaro. The 57 car sits in fourth position ahead of the Ford Mustang of Jack Rouse Jr., the Coa Motorsports car. Then it's Till Bechtolsheimer in the first of the C.J. Wilson Racing Porsche Fresno Caymans. And then Brynjolfsson behind that in the number 7 McLaren from Volt Racing. And the top 10 made up of the 35 Porsche in 9th position, the 99 Aston in 9th for Stephen Phillips, who started that car. And rounding off the top 10 is the McLaren number 68 of Rod Randall.
Yeah, with Cameron Castles hanging on to his coattails here and doing a pretty good job. It's Cameron Castles. He's gradually improving his pace. Very much new to racing, just started last season. Driving alongside Trent Hinman, another former champion in this series. Look at this great battle going on in ST. This is for the 3rd position on back. A gaggle of about half a dozen cars.
Yeah, 3rd to about 13th, it would seem at the moment. It's held the position of 3rd by James Clay in that Bimmer World BMW, punching out of the left-hander almost a hairpin onto the back straight really well. And the little Mazda 2-litre 4-cylinder of Chad McCumbee chasing him down. He's got his own problems at the moment. It's up the inside comes Nick Gallant in the 17 red, white and black Porsche Cayman of RS1 that he shares with Spencer Pumpelly. That was a very neat manoeuvre indeed, but couldn't get it done. And immediately, of course, that costs him a little bit of speed and track position. And there's 2 very hungry Caymans behind him. Jeff Mosing in the bright orange with the black hood on that car, back bonnet on that car, 56 car, and then Tim Probert in the 65. So that's the other Mosing Motorcars car, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the 2 Murillo cars are running together, and Tim Probert doing a cracking job to hang on to those guys ahead.
It really is doing a good job there, hanging on to his teammate. Jeff Mosing a lot more experience than Tim is, and hanging on there very gamely indeed.
Battle for Matt Keegan's 3rd position, with Matt Bell showing some intent to get that back. He's on the back straight at the moment. Paul Holton over 3 seconds ahead of Dylan Mercer in 2nd place in that number 28 RS1 machine. RS1, a relatively new team to this level of motor racing, but my goodness me, they've been doing a good job over the last couple of years, specialising Porsches. RS standing for Red Sport. Here's a dive down the inside at the end of the back straight at turn 12, and that is the 33 car of Till Bechtolsheimer, trying to get a position on the Volt McLaren, but has to go wide.
No, actually trying to maintain his position ahead of Anna Brynjolfsson.
Okay.
Not able to make that happen. Brynjolfsson gets through on the inside into turn 13.
And that's 6th position changing.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeremy. Did look as though he was diving down the inside. He was actually protecting his position. And behind, he's got his teammate till now, which is the 35 car of Russell Ward, Texas native from Seabrook, driving with Damien Faulkner, the affable and very quick Irishman. Great to have Damo back in sports car and endurance racing. Man who had a very, very impressive early career in single-seaters, including over here in Indy Lights, of course, Jeremy.
Yep.
Very impressive, but like many, the backing and the financial side of things ran out long before his talent. And he's been doing a pretty good job in sports car racing of various types, and then became a bit of a Porsche specialist for a while. Now gone to a mid-engine Porsche, and great to see him back doing exactly what he used to do, drive cars very, very quick and help other drivers to drive them quick as well. And I think that's a key part of what's going on in that C.J. Wilson racing team at the moment, with Mark Miller and Damien Faulkner not just driving the cars, but providing some very good mentoring for their less experienced drivers.
It's Paul Holton still in the lead of this race. He has also set the fastest lap of the race. That was as lap 2, but he is now maintaining a good steady pace. It's enough to keep him about 3 seconds clear of the second place car, Dylan Murcott.
So already 15 minutes in, and here's how this stands. 6 laps have been completed. The battles in ST rage on, with Christopher Stone in the Mazda number 34 Murillo racing car, disappearing a little bit into the distance there, but Derek Jones and the rest are still trying to chase him down. We've got a couple of GS cars as interlopers there in that sharp end of the ST field.
Yes, that's the Team TGM pair of Ted Giovannis and Hugh Plum there in the number 46 car. Hugh is a lot faster than that, but he's just trying to help Ted Giovannis keep up his pace. He's literally pushing him at this stage. He's not allowed to push him literally, but figuratively he is.
Yes.
And they're trying to maintain contact with the rest of the field. As long as they don't lose a lap, then when Guy Cosmo takes over at the wheel in number 4 car, he will be still in contention even to run towards the front of the field.
Yeah, just behind those two TGM cars is the battle for 4th behind James Clay in the 84 black and white BMW. Nick Gallant in the 17 RS1 Porsche, then 5th, then the 2 Murillo Racing Caymans, 56 and 65. Mosing Motor Cars, Jeff Mosing, Austin based, just to the north of downtown, and had a big open house on Wednesday night, showing off some of the fabulous machinery that he's got down there. Good turnout, great food, good atmosphere, and some glorious motor cars. Now, James Clay's just lost a position there, so he's dropped down to 5th as through has gone the first of those Caymans sitting behind him. That's Nick Gallant then in the RS1, the number 17 red, white and black car. So now it's up to Jeff Mosing to see if he can get through in the first of the mainly orange machines. Goes up on the curb, tries round the outside, going into turn number 19, now slightly downhill towards the final corner. Another left-hander. That was a brave manoeuvre by Jeff Mosing. He's got Tim Probert at his wheel tracks, and behind that, Aurora Strauss in the red, white and blue Porsche Cayman makes it a triumvirate of mid-engine Porsches sniffing around the tailpipes of that 84 BMW as they cross the line to complete their 7th lap here at the Circuit of the Americas in the Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge. Paul Holton now still just on that 3 seconds ahead at the front of the GS and overall standings. The McLaren number 76 leads Dylan Murcott in the Porsche number 28 by 2.8 seconds. Then it's around about another 3 seconds back to Matt Keegan in 3rd, 1.5 seconds back to Matt Bell in 4th. McLaren, Porsche, McLaren, Chevy, Ford and McLaren the top 6.
Indeed so, and we've got battle lot going on now with Till Bechtelsheimer and Russell Ward, which exchange positions, haven't they? Yes, you're right. The 2 CJ Wilson cars are exchanging places. We're on another lap completed by Paul Holton at the front of the field. Just really nice steady pace here. 2 minutes 22.5 that time around. A couple of tenths down on his previous lap. The tyres are getting hot.
Chris has tweeted in at IMSA Radio to ask this question: where's the second Mustang? Not here. And that, more significantly, as well as Ford fans being disappointed, means that our drivers' points leaders coming into this round, Scott Maxwell and Jade Buford, will not be scoring points in that championship. No word yet from the drivers on Multimatic, who they've been driving for most often, about the plans for the rest of the season. So the 59 Ford in 5th position with Jack Rouse Jr. and Dean Martin. The Core Motorsports car is the only blue oval in the race, and running at the moment in 5th overall, so 5th in the Grand Sport category as well. All of the action for the minor places in ST at the moment, with an hour and 40 minutes still to go. Still plenty of action to come here. If we know anything about Continental Tire SportsCar Challenges, don't leave before the end. New fastest lap for Cameron Castles, fighting his way back through the field. He's up to 10th overall now. He's got ahead of the 68 McLaren there, and a 2:24.5 on the way to doing that. That's a very decent run indeed from Cameron Castles in the Body Motion Racing Porsche Cayman GT4 that he shares with Trent Hindman. Trent, the faster driver, but Cameron's driving has been getting better in two ways. One, he's getting faster, and two, Jeremy's getting more consistent.
Where is car number 37? There was a battle developing for the lead in ST. He caught up, had Derek Jones with the race leader, Christian Stone, in that number 34 Mazda. Now he's gone missing.
And the 73 Mini that was battling it out.
No, it's not.
No,
yes,
that's
there he is.
37 is in the pit lane, and the 73 has just gone across the line. 37 in the pit lane, and 73's just crossed the start-finish line. So Derek Jones, the 37 was the one that we reported earlier as having the issues with the turbo.
It's a middle sector somewhere for Derek Jones there went awry. His final sector was okay, so somewhere in the middle part of that, maybe a spin at turn 11 or turn 12.
He was second in the class.
And right with him too.
Yeah, and Chris Stone now has a 10.5 second lead back to Chad McCumbee in the 25 Mazda. Mazda's first and second then in ST, the 73 Mini. Now that car looks relatively unmarked on the left-hand side of it, still red, white and black, still looking like a Mini should, and still turning through the S's with the characteristic wheel cocked in the air at the back of the car. And his sector times are all right. Sarah Cattaneo, by the way, has not re-emerged from the pits. It looks like the 44 Nissan Altima's day is over, and the team very unhappy about that. We'll try and get a word with Owen and with Sarah rather about what happened at the start of the race. I suspect that there's quite a bit of angst down there in the 44 Nissan pit. Second place in the last race at Sebring. This will do their championship challenge no good whatsoever. 37 Mini in the pit lane. Turbocharger problems. Four-cylinder engine being revved within an inch of its life. 37 car back underway and kind of all right on its times, but has dropped all the way down to 29th, and the last car running in the ST category. Paul Holton has no such problems. He's just lapped the 73 Mini and now has 3.3 seconds back to Dylan Merker in the 28 RS1 Porsche in second. Matt Keegan for McLaren, the 77 C360R Compass racing car in third position. And he's got a 0.6 of a second gap only back to, from Keegan back to Matt Bell in the 57. That is the brand new Chevy Camaro. Closes up under braking at turn 20, and if I look to the right, I'll see them come out the final corner. So let's see if we can get a little bit of clarity on what happened to the 44 Altima. Busy opening lap as always. The car came in with the hood pins missing and the bonnet having cracked the windscreen. Jim Roller has this Continental Tire SportsCar report from the pits.
Well, Owen, Sarah took the car behind the wall. Were you not able to fix it? Is it just done for the day?
No, Jim, it broke the support on the hood when some action went up in turn one up there on that first start there, and got hit on the nose, and then broke one of the supports there on the carbon hood that we run, and it broke the windshield. I mean, shattered the windshield. I mean, we just can't run it like that. It's unsafe, and it's disappointing because we're right in the hunt for the points, but we'll battle back from this. And I got to say hello to my boys at home, my wife. Unfortunately, I'll be on the early flight home and catch the baseball game in the morning with them, and I wasn't going to be home until tomorrow morning, but I'll get out tonight. We'll be back. We'll come back strong from this. I mean, this is our mulligan, but we got to be on it the rest of the year.
All right, well, good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's a good point. Can't really afford not to be scoring in these races. This is the one that they'll want to forget about. But let's hope it is the only one for them. Certain championship contenders, one would expect, for the ST category for the rest of the year. An hour and 35 minutes still to go.
And problems also for the 73 cars. We've already seen that's dropped to the back of the pack. Still seems to be running okay, but that was another championship contender, second in points coming into this weekend. And the leader is number 17, which is currently running in third.
Yeah, the Audi's right at the back as well, the 75
Yeah, that's
car.
Ryan Block. He's a lot less experienced than Pierre Klein-Newbing.
3 car goes around, the TRG Aston Martin. And that was started by Craig Lyons on his own through the S's. And, oh, it's an awful feeling.
I've got it. Oh, no.
Well, there's a lot of room to have that end-swapping moment down through the S's onto the red, white and blue that surrounds the circuit. Looks like you might have stalled the Aston Martin engine, but he's got it pointing in the right direction and got it going again. The GT4 car running a lot less rear wing than the GT3, of course. Once that back end tries to overtake the front, you're in real trouble. And just behind on the hand movement is the...
Yeah, got behind on the steering, as Richard Petty used to say.
Exactly right. But no contact there. Probably a couple of flat spots on the Continental tyres, and the 3 has recovered. Ted Giovannis and Hugh Plum, by the way, have fought their way through the ST pack after the schmozzle in the opening laps that saw them drop down into the middle of that. So with an hour and a half still to go, Paul Holton by 2.7 at the head of the field. In ST, Chris Stone by 9.9 seconds in the 34 Mazda. The Murillo racing car leading out then from Chad McCumbee in second. Behind them, Nick Galanti in third, and then James Clay in the 84 black and white BMW, just losing a position at the end of the run down to the start of the back straight, and that was Jeff Mosing going through into 4th position.
It was. Jeff got a fantastic run off the end of the S's there. He was able to carry the momentum on the straight and make the move into turn 11.
And Jeff's had to go into the middle of the road as the BMW punched off the slow corner very well. It gets its nose ahead, but it's not in the correct place in the corner. Jeff's going to have to turn in early in the mid-engine Porsche. If he does it, they're very close indeed as they come together on the exit. This one's not over yet. And James Clay and Jeff Mosing, 2 very hard-charging drivers, but absolutely clean and fair from both there. Smashing racing for 4th position in the ST category. Tim Probert, by the way, just keeping a watching brief behind them, but still in with a shout here. Very impressed by Tim's running. The leader is coming through that battle at the moment. Behind Tim Probert is Aurora Strauss in the number 18 RS1. A Porsche that she shares with Connor Bloom. So that's going to get interesting as the leader picks his way through this battle in a moment or two's time. 8th position for Till Bechtolsheimer. He's got a little bit of space ahead of him. Got passed by his teammate a wee while ago. And Russell Ward has cleared off to about a second's distance. So now at the back of the ST field, that's the guys who are making up ground, including that 75 Audi. It's an all-wheel drive car for Roy Block in the Compass 360R, the C360R machine. He would have wanted a bit of rain today. Not likely from a clear blue sky. I've seen strange things in motor racing before, and I have seen it rain from a clear blue sky, but not here.
No, I think that's rather unlikely today, isn't it?
I've seen rain stop a race here, which I described as a passing shower, I seem to remember, which is why I'm not employed by any meteorological office anywhere in the world for my weather forecasting skills.
Looks like Dylan Murcott perhaps encountered some traffic there. The race leaders working their way through the ST field now up to the battle for, well, not really a battle at the moment, is it, between 3rd, 4th place cars in that class. So as they're working their way through, Dylan Murcott had been whittling away at the gap to Paul Holton, but last time around, Holton was able to extend that lead again. It's now 5.5 seconds, indeed, because Dylan clearly was held up through the S's on this lap as well. So I think that cost him quite a bit of time to the race leader, Paul Holton.
Yeah, it cost him a couple of seconds at least.
Yeah. He lost about 0.8 of a second on the previous lap, and then just two whole seconds just in that one sector. Well, that's the problem when you run through the S's here. It's awfully difficult to make a pass, and if, as the race leader or someone who's leading a pack, if you're getting through some slower traffic, if you can get through them before the S's start, then you're golden. Whoops, that's a bit close.
Yeah, that was Alan Brynjolfsson lapping traffic and going a little deep into turn 12. And managing to get by Liam Dwyer in the 26 Mazda. Liam's in a decent battle himself with the 52 Mini, Tyler Stone. That's the yellow and black Mini, or the yellow and dark coloured Mini anyway. Our leader coming through to the cars at the front of the ST field now, and has dealt with traffic superbly as he goes past the second place Chad McCumbee driven Freedom Motorsport Mazda. Not a pass for position, of course. They are in different categories, but mixed class racing, an absolute staple of endurance and sports car racing. Alan Brynjolfsson's just gone by us, trying to chase down Jack Roush Jr. in the Ford. So here's how it stands with half an hour of racing completed, 13 laps in the book for Paul Holton in the number 76 Aston Martin from C360R. Matt Plum will be jumping into that car later on, and yes, that is Hugh's brother. Remember, they were Rum Bum Racing and that venerable Porsche 911 that gave us such entertainment. Not a favourite track for the guys here, I would have thought. I seem to remember it expiring on the start-finish straight and their championship hopes going up with the engine at that point. So Holton in the McLaren by 6.5 seconds now to Dylan Merkin in the RS1 Porsche in second place, the number 28 car. Then another 4 seconds back to Matt Keegan's McLaren, the second of the Compass 360R car. And off is Aurora Strauss. Now that is coming over the top of the brow after the S's. That's a very nasty place to get it wrong. You're going pretty quick there. Car gets light. Can't really go too wide there as you get off the circuit. The 18 car is fired up though, and the red and silver machine is pointing in the wrong direction.
Over a blind brow too, probably, isn't it?
Yeah. Nice recovery, looking at the marshals there, waiting for the wave. Now, question was, did she get a helping nose cone stuck in there? Yes, she did, from the Volt car.
Yeah.
And that was not very pleasant at all. And Aurora Strauss does a brilliant job keeping the number 18 RS1 Porsche Cayman out of the barriers, driver's right, coming over the top of the rise there at turns 9 and 10. Smart girl, off to Harvard next year, and very, very impressive car control after a very nice move there by Alan Brynjolfsson in the Volt McLaren. Just a tiny little tap, but when you are so far on the ragged edge, it's very difficult. Oh, it doesn't need much, shall we say. Yeah, just a little bit of rubbing on the back of that car. One of the bumpers has been dislodged, the rubber bumpers on that car. That's all it took. A masterful piece of recovery.
And she'd just been overtaken, Aurora, by Michael Johnson, who's doing a stellar job in car number 54. That's the bright yellow JDC Miller Motorsports BMW. He came past on the first lap, right at the tail of the field in 30th position. Now moved himself up to 22nd. Not only that, he's about 6th place in ST, so a great drive. Whoops.
Yeah, it was a definite tap.
Yeah, that was a bit naughty. That was just a misjudgment from Alan Brynjolfsson. It could have had very serious consequences.
Yeah, really good save by Aurora Strauss. Let's go down to Shea Adam as Aurora crosses the start-finish line. We have had a couple of recent pit callers. Shea, what can you tell us?
The number 68, the remaining McLaren for the Motorsports and Action team, came in. They did fuel and tires only, but talking just before the start of the race to the team when the number 69 was not taking the start, it was extra bittersweet because for that team, they were here until 3:30 in the morning trying to fix an issue that developed before the second practice session. So they missed out on that track time as well. They were really hoping that after qualifying second, this was going to be their weekend. Not so. So all their cards are in with the number 68, and that is the first true pit caller we've seen of the race so far.
Yeah, a little bit out of kilter. Rod Randall bringing that car in after just about half an hour, 2 or 3 minutes ago.
Yes,
so they're off strategy with everyone else at the moment.
Indeed, you talked about earlier on. They have to complete a minimum of 45 minutes for each driver.
Matt Keegan, third position at the moment, 4 seconds back from Dylan Murcutt, who's in second, who's 6 seconds back from the leader. Behind them, it's another 6 seconds back to the series debut for the Camaro of Stevenson Motorsport. This is a full GT4 spec car, just coming onto the front straight now. Rumbling past us. Gearbox issues for that car early on. Not sure whether it was early on in the weekend, a sensor issue or the gearbox itself that was not liking the temperatures. But just to be sure, they swapped the gearbox out to the one they've been using in testing. And so far, so good. That Stevenson car continuing in 4th position. In 5th, Jack Rouse Jr. in the Mustang. This is the Core Racing machine, Core Motorsport machine, the Ford Mustang, another one of the new breed of GT4 cars. Looking very mean, moody and magnificent. And Jack Roush has got about a second and a half on Alan Brynjolfsson in the very brightly coloured Volt Racing, of course. The fluorescent yellow and grey colours of Volt on the Alan Brynjolfsson. Chris Hall, the Brit, will take over that car, striking Andy Blackmore livery on that McLaren, and he is closing in on the Mustang, which is already having tyre issues, starting to wag the tail a little bit on throttle application. In 6th position, that's Brynjolfsson, 7th, and having repassed his teammate Till Bechtelsheimer in the 33 CJ Wilson Racing. That's the Porsche of Fresno Cayman.
Indeed, did that last time around, so regained 7th position. Does Till Bechtelsheimer ahead of the Texan Russell Ward.
And he has got some company there as well, as he's just going by Nick Gallant, putting a lap on the ST Cayman. But the 2 CJ Wilson cars running in lockstep, 33 from 35 in 7th and 8th position. They'll be hoping that their tyre wear, Porsche's a little bit lighter on tyre wear with the mid-engine configuration, can play into their hands in the latter part of the race. They don't mind the long run here. Green Flag Racing, good for them. 9th position, the 99 Aston. That's the automatic racing car. Stephen Phillips driving that car. He is another 10, 11 seconds back from the 2 CJ Wilson Porsches. And then rounding off the top 10 is the body motion Porsche of Cameron Castles, as Brynjolfsson is in the pits. Now, I'll see him go past me. Is this a pit stop or is it a penalty?
Pretty sure it'll be a penalty.
It will be a pit stop, John. They are waving the board as the bright McLaren pulls into its marks. They have the fuel line ready to go, and they have 4 sticker Continental tires as they put the car up on the air jacks. This is full service. This is not a penalty.
Wow. Well, there's damage on the front.
Surprised he hadn't been invited to have a little chat with somebody or...
Damage on the front of that car was all the evidence, extra evidence after seeing the footage. Running through the top 10 then, that promotes Stephen Phillips up to 8th position in the 99 Aston Martin. Cameron Castles up into 9th. Brynjolfsson will now... That's interesting, of course. He's only had 40 minutes in the car. So that must be some kind of issue with that car. And Shea Adam can tell us more.
They had him gently revving the engine. They have not changed the tires, and they popped the hood on the car to see if there was any sort of heating issue. Now they've put the car back down, they finished refueling, and they sent him back out. So he does have those 5 more minutes to complete before they will put the tires on, but they did give him a full tank of fuel while they were examining what was wrong with the McLaren.
Right.
Curious.
Thanks, Shea. Curious. May have caused some damage then when he nerfed Aurora Strauss's RS1 Cayman off to the side of the circuit. In ST, well, always great battling, but at the moment, the Murillo Racing Mazda and Chris Stone, much think it's his birthday. He's got 13 seconds on Chad McCumbee in the 25 Freedom Motorsport Mazda in second. He's got 5.5 seconds on Nick Gallant in the 17 Porsche in third. It's another one of the RS1 machines. Then Jeff Mosing is another 10 seconds further back in the 56 Porsche. James Clay, 2.5 seconds further back from him in the 84 BMW in fifth position. Has pulled out about 1.5 seconds from Tim Probert in the second of the Murillo Porsches, the 65 car. And then Michael Johnson in the 54. That's the JDC Miller Motorsports BMW. He's now just 0.6 of a second behind Probert. And after that, the gap's spreading out a little bit through the ST field. Long green flag running here. Playing into the hands, maybe, of Paul Holton at the head of the GS field and Chris Stone at the head of the ST. That bright orange and white Murillo Motorsports Mazda at the moment holding sway. Great colour scheme on that car. Love the black wheels and the little hard top in the bright orange. The white accents look really good on that car. It's very chunky. The wheel arches blistered deliberately and looking a real throwback, that car. Handling brilliantly, clearly. That Murillo Motorsport car in the signature Murillo orange. Got Till Bechtelsheimer about to put a lap on him. Just to confirm, by the way, Brynjolfsson did stay behind the wheel of the number 7 McLaren. He hasn't done his 45 minutes. And he will have a drive-through penalty for the contact with Aurora Strauss. And Jim Roller has this from our Continental Tire Pit Lane report.
Yeah, they didn't confuse the drive-through with the pit stop. They knew they had some damage because of the contact, and they were starting to experience some heating. Shea was exactly right. So they wanted to check that out before they served the penalty. So they will bring him back in for the drive-through shortly.
I take my life in my hands with all the teams as I say this, but we have had green flag racing since the start of the race, which was 17 laps ago, or if you prefer, 42.5 minutes ago. 2.5 minutes, if that, away from potentially green flag pit stops to do driver changes. I've got to believe there's a lot of guys in the bigger, heavier cars who are saying, is it 45 minutes yet? I need to get out of this car, and you need to put some new rubber to get that Continental performance bonus from the new tyres. No such issue for the Chris Strone-driven 34 Mazda. 25 Chad McCumbee in second. Seems to be working a little harder on the wheel of his Freedom Motorsport Mazda MX-5.
Well spread out at the front here, aren't they, actually, in both classes, which is a little bit surprising, with Christopher Stone having even extending his lead now. It's now almost 13 seconds over Chad McCumbee. Third place, Nick Gallant. He's hanging on there about sort of 6 seconds or so behind him. And then another long gap back to Jeff Mosing, who's certainly done a lot better job in the race, and he struggled for some reason in qualifying.
Yes,
but look at that, Michael Johnson, he's continuing to charge. He's got past Tim Probert, and now he's right onto the tail of James Clay in the BMW.
And that will be for 5th position.
Yeah, fantastic effort.
It's a 2:28, the 54 car versus the 3:28.
And for those of you who don't know, Michael Johnson in that car number 54 is paralysed from the chest down. It's just a remarkable story. That was getting on for 10 years ago now, in a motorcycle accident at the age of 14, when he was a motorcycle champion even at that age in motocross and what have you, and had a big crash, broke his back. Decided a few years later that he wanted to go back racing again, got a go-kart, started racing go-karts, went on to the Skip Barber Racing School. Here comes number 7, by the way, Alan Brynjolfsson, to serve his drive-through penalty. And Michael Johnson moved on from Skip. I won races in the Skip Barber Racing School Series, and that's not, it might be a school series, but I tell you what, there's a lot of very talented drivers coming through that. Many of the top drivers now in IndyCars, including Joseph Newgarden, Connor Daly, and many others as well.
Oh,
he won races.
Problem for the leader in ST. Engine. I thought it was a left-hand puncture. The Murillo Racing Master has given up the ghost. There is oil smoke coming from the back of the car, and looks like coolant as well from underneath the bonnet. What a disaster. That was a near 13-second lead that has, sorry to say this, evaporated. Yeah, and
literally gone up in smoke.
It has gone up in smoke, Jeremy, and the drive time window is open, as we will, I'm sure, go full course. Well, yeah, I think we probably will. The pits have been closed. So we're going to go to full course yellow.
Well,
33 got in. Brilliant piece of timing from Till Bechtelsheimer, and they got in just before the pits were closed.
Well, where's Russell Ward then?
Russell Ward is 2 seconds behind.
He was.
Just before we go down to Shea, there's something that's come out of the back of that Mazda that wasn't very good at all, because it set the grass slightly alight behind it. Now, was it just an engine that gave up on the long back straight? Braking down into the left-hander at the end. Was that a downshift that over-revved the engine? Because he was in the braking area at the end of the back straight. Till Bechtelsheimer comes into the pit lane, and behind him, his teammates got in hard, really hard. Was trying to get into the pit lane, and Russell Ward has lost the car and hit the Armco side on at one of the access points and ripped a wheel off the 35 car. That's a heavy impact for the 35 CJ Wilson Porsche. And this is going to be a long caution. The intervention vehicle is already there. There's a suspension spring sitting in the middle of the road. One of the wheels went off to driver's left. Meantime, the 34 tumbles down the timing and scoring. Driver is out of that car, Chris Stone. But there is fire underneath that Mazda. So hot oil or something. He's grabbed a fire extinguisher himself.
Yeah.
He's left one of the doors open, and hot engine oil and whatever on the grass. The second IMSA safety vehicle now pulls up, and the driver being very proactive there. But with full course yellow, we can now get some extinguishant on the grass and around the cars. That was at the end of the back straight, turning left. And the best news I can give you is that the driver of the 35 car, Russell Ward, is out of the car and walking away under his own power. This is the 35 car just coming into the final corner.
Exactly.
I think what he was trying to do, Jeremy,
I agree,
was follow Bechtelsheimer in.
Yeah, I agree.
And now the 34 car being pushed away from the scene of the fire underneath it. So it's all fine coming down to the braking area at the end of the back straight, and then, oh dear, yeah, that was a catastrophic failure. So whether that was a missed gear or snatch gear or an over rev or a 6th to 2nd, rather 6th to 4th, not sure, but a catastrophic failure from that car, and that has spread a variety of 2-litre engine parts around the circuit. Now, second incident which has brought out this full course caution, and the pits, by the way, are still closed because it's in the pit lane. Till Bechtelsheimer dives for the pits as the full course yellow comes out, and yikes, what a big hit that is. Thank goodness that's a left-hand drive car, because the Armco there is not guarded by tyres, and it's at an acute angle because it's an entry point to the paddock, and that really should have a gateway on there. to stop that happening.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody go off there before.
He must have gone wide coming out of 19 and tried to drag the car back.
Maybe he must have lost it, I think, on the curb on the exit of 19 there, trying to pinch it across.
The good news is that Russell Ward is out of the car. Let's go down to the car that made it into the pit lane in one piece. That's Till Bechtelsheimer. He's given his car over to his teammate Mark Miller. Shea Adam is at CJ Wilson and Fresno Porsche pit.
Till, that was pretty much the perfect stint from you. Did exactly what you had to, but you looked up and saw your teammate crashing in your rearview mirror. That's got to put a bit of a sour note on things.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, especially because Russell and I were having a really good little battle out there amongst teammates, which was fun. And I guess there was another incident somewhere on track, so the team called me in very last minute. And as I was coming into the pits, I checked my mirrors and saw Russell hit the wall, which is a real shame.
But you had a good stint out there. Circuit of the Americas to your liking.
Yeah, it was not bad. It was tough. It was very greasy out there, with the temperatures being pretty hot. So I was trying to conserve tires, but it didn't really work that well. But no, I enjoyed it. It was a clean stint, and hopefully Mark's in a good position now.
And Mark's into the end?
Yeah, he should be.
Good luck.
Thanks a lot.
Pits have been opened. There's a rollback just gone contra race there, but the cars are behind a safety car. Still don't like to see that,
other end of the racetrack,
if I'm honest, yes, but I understand. But got to say, I think that's a deficiency of the circuit design here.
Well, it's also a lack of experience, I think, on the driver, it has to be said.
Drivers crash cars.
Yeah.
You've got to protect them from themselves sometimes. You can't have a piece of Armco at right angles to the racetrack and not being protected.
I agree.
If he'd gone in at a slightly different angle and missed that, or just caught the end of it, he'd have been in the paddock area at unabated speed.
Yeah, I agree. You're absolutely right.
The Murillo Racing Mazda pushed away. Pit stops. Let's go down. It'll be Jim Roller with the leader and Shea Adam with everybody else. Let's start with Jim Roller with his Continental Tire pit lane update.
Well, not quite everybody else. I've got the 76, the 77, and the 59 in front of me. So that's the Mustang and the two leading McLarens. Paul Holton is getting out. Plum is getting in. Matt Plum's getting into the number 76 car. The number 77 is also doing their driver change in tires, as is the case with the 59. Let's go to Shea.
I have the number 12. Cameron Castles has already jumped out of that body motion Porsche and put Trent Hinman behind the wheel. The number 28 Porsche. We have gone from Dylan to Dylan in that one, or Dylan to Dillon, however you were saying it earlier. The number 57, the Stevenson Camaro, is in. Robin Liddell is behind the wheel of that one. They dropped the car off the air jack after doing a 4-tire change and having trouble getting it into gear and fired up. There we go. Now Robin notices that it's time to go. He actually beats out the 28 and the 12. As well as the 99, which is a little bit further down, and an unsafe release for the 99 as it merges in right with the number 7 after serving its penalty. Coming back in, now it will need less fuel because they put fuel in earlier, but it will be getting 4 tires. Jim?
21 car is also in. That's the Cameron Lawrence and Chuck Quinton car that spun earlier. Quinton has gotten out. Cameron Lawrence is back in. The 12 car is back underway. 76 car is taking a long time for this pit stop. They are still in, as is the 77. So they have gone from first to worst, dropping all the way down to 8th position at this point, and they could drop further if they don't get out of here.
Now behind the safety car, thanks ladies and gents. That was great. Love to hear the sound of those air wrenches. The 76 car is still on pit lane. Problems with the left rear. The new Continental going on. Love to hear those
very slow
air
also
wrenches.
for the 77 car.
Yeah, both of those cars, the two team cars.
Losing a massive amount of ground.
Yeah, I mean, they've lost positions. Thank goodness that wasn't a green flag pit stop for them. That is their only saving grace. They will be able to cycle round. They will only be at the back of their field.
Yeah.
Let's have a word with Paul Holton. Good start. Had a little bit of a fight in his hands early on, Jim, excuse me. But he pulled out a good lead towards the end of that stint there.
He sure did, John, and we'll find out how the stint was from our vantage point. It looked like you grabbed that thing by the throat. Was it as easy as it looked?
You know, it's never as easy as it looks. It's really greasy out there, really slippery. The curbs are even more slippery today. So when you get on the rumble strips, you start to lose the grip even more. It's really challenging conditions out there today. Thankfully, the Compass guys gave me a fantastic car and an awesome McLaren.
What happened on that pit stop? Do you have any idea? It was painfully long for both cars. It looked like trouble with the right rear.
Well, you know, there's an issue. The IMSA hasn't allowed us the proper wheel nuts for these cars, so we take a little bit longer to take the wheel nuts off when they're hot. So we suffer a little bit there, but I'm sure we'll make it back up on track where it matters.
All right, well, good luck.
Centre lock wheels on those, so single lug nut.
Yes, and that's obviously a massive advantage if you have just a single lug nut. So IMSA slowed down that pit stop. Not quite sure how they've done it, to be perfectly honest. I haven't paid attention to that. Should have done. But certainly, if you just have a centre lock as opposed to the 4 or 5 studs on every other car, you're going to have a huge advantage. So they've got to try and equalise that out. I hadn't noticed that discrepancy though in the previous races, at least nothing like that amount. So not quite sure what happened there for those 2 Compass cars.
Pits will be open next time around for the ST field, but by my reckoning, the number 3 Aston Martin is behind the safety car, but that is a lap down, I reckon. They should get a wave by. Yes. That's what they're staying out for.
Yeah, the top
so
of those
Mark
4
Miller.
cars, so you're right. Number 3, 68, 4 and 46 should all get a wave around.
And they haven't yet pitted. Mark Miller should lead this as the ST cars come in. Let's go to Shea Adam.
The Freedom Autosport cars hate when the caution comes out and they have to do their pit stops together because they have 2 fuel rigs for 3 cars. So right now the number 25 and 27 are getting serviced, while the 26 is having the tire change. Up here at RS1, the 17 has come in first. Spencer Pompelli getting behind the wheel from Nick Gallant, and Rory Strauss has gotten out. Looking at the back of the number 18 Porsche, the one that had a little bit of a punt, it's got slight bit of damage there, but nothing that they shouldn't be able to deal with. Jim?
I've got Minis and Audis and Bimmers, oh my. The 52 and 73 Minis are both in, as here comes the Murillo number 56 Porsche. So the Porsches are going to be quick. The 56 and the 17 are the first 2 cars back out onto the racetrack. Oh, but the 84 Bimmerworld BMW gets out right in front of the 56. So they're going to pick up quite a few positions with this pit stop. The 75 is done. The 54 is coming out. Here comes the 18 and the 65. Again, slow pit stops for the Minis. They're using the 5 lug nuts. They're taking their time and checking the wheels and everything, so they don't seem to be in any hurry on the 73 car. They're under caution. They're not going to lose that much track position.
By my reckoning, thanks Shea and Jim, the 84 Tyler Cook now aboard that. The BMW did get out first, and behind it the 56 of Eric Foss. Then Spencer Pompelli was the 3rd car out. 4th for Stephen McAleer now aboard the 25 Mazda, and after that it was pretty much an all skate, as Jim Roller would say. But those were the ones that I noticed going out of the pit lane. Let's see if that is what happens. The clean-up, which has been done at a brilliant pace by the recovery and track services people. Crews has been done very well indeed. Here's the wave by starting, and it'll be the Aston Martin, the number 3 Aston Martin that leads round a group of 4 cars. So that's 3 Aston Martin, 68 McLaren, 4 and 46 Porsches, all getting the wave by, and it will be Darth Kamen, the 33 Mark Miller, that leads with Robin Liddell right up his tailpipes. Hello, haven't we seen this before? A Porsche and a Stevenson Camaro battling it out in the second half of the race, and we have the second half of the race to come with just on an hour still to go. Let's pick up some ST interviews, starting with Chad McCumbee talking to Shea Adam.
Chad, it was a good qualifying session for you guys to be up in 3rd. Were you expecting to be so strong at Circuit of the Americas?
Well, it's always been a good racetrack for us. Our mod Space Mazda has always performed well here. We weren't quite as good as we needed to be in that first stint, so I'm sure the guys threw us some stuff at it for Steven, and hopefully we were a little better. We got pretty lucky there. I don't think we had anything for a 34 car. They did a good job today. And seemed like they were the class of field that first stint, but our guys work hard every week, and I bet they made the right adjustments, and I bet that 25 car will be a little stronger right now.
How much will it help that everybody came in at the same time, so now your team cars are back up in the same zip code as you?
Yeah, no, that helps a ton. Having teammates to work with, it's just so tough. With the disparity in how all these cars make speed, it's very difficult for us sometimes to make moves and try to progress forward. You really got to throw it in areas you probably shouldn't sometimes. And I just try to be patient there. There was a lot of GS traffic at the start of the race and a lot of guys wanting to hold us off. So, it it was you know, painful trying to sit there and wait on the opportunity and be patient. But it all worked out, and hopefully we can finish on the podium and maybe sneak a win out of this.
Well, Chad's looking for a trophy for his new baby boy.
Derek Jones just out of the number 73 Mini, and as is typical with the ST class, it was up and down and hammer and tong, tooth and nail. How you were strong early, then you seemed to drop back a little bit. What happened?
We got electrical gremlin right now, so I think we have a car that had the pace to win. Unfortunately, we got electrical gremlin, which when we hit the curbs, which is part of this track, the car's going into limp mode. So trying to figure that way through it right now. The team's trying to find out what it could be, and hopefully we can get it figured out. Go out there and go for the win, or go for the podium at least at this point.
So basically, if you cloud a curb, it goes into pit lane speed limiter mode, and
absolutely. So we'll go above 3,500 RPM, and that's obviously not enough for a turbo car to get around.
wow, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating when you know the car can go fast. So yeah, it's a shame, but we'll see what we can do. Stay in the points. That's all.
Now the other car was having turbo issues. Are they having a similar problem, or have nobody told you about that yet?
I'm not sure about their problem. I did hear that they went a bunch of laps down trying to figure it out. So it's unfortunate for our team. Honestly, these are such strong cars that just sometimes the temperature and the vibration just does something to the car that we're not used to. We're just developing the car still. So finding our way through it, but try to stay in the points. You know, Mini builds a fantastic car from the street, and we just ring out here and try and race it. So we got to work our way through all those different parts of it and figure it out.
All right, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Good hustle by the team as ever. The remains of the front suspension and wheel of the CJ Wilson Porsche, the number 35 car, Russell Ward, just being pushed out of the way. The lights are out on the safety car.
Yeah, and what a stroke of luck that was, or rather great call by that team, I should say, to bring that number 33 car onto pit lane. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for the sister car, but for the 33 car, he was able to make that pit stop, get out there, and now he's in the lead of the race, having been running in the, where was he before the thing? He was in 7th place, so huge break there for that team. They took full advantage of it, make a good pit stop. The question is, do they have to make another pit stop before the end of the race when we go back to green with about an hour, a little bit over an hour to go in this race? As we see the cars that got the wave around coming in to make their pit stops, each of them, they're going to be, we're going to be going back to green before they get back fully up to speed, so they're not going to be in contention unless there will be another caution period.
Shea Adam.
I thought we were going to see a moment where a driver jumped out of one car and immediately into another, but no, the Ford came in. Ted Giovannis jumped out, and Guy Cosmo is being strapped in. Ted is keeping his helmet on, though, because the sister car, the 46, never mind, it's driving behind the wall. I thought it was going to go out and do another lap, but that will be game over for that car.
Well, again, they're just playing the game here. I really, it's not cricket. I mean, why enter two cars if you're not running properly? They try to change the rules to stop that. They're just taking a mickey, and I don't applaud that.
See, I think if you pay for your two entries, you can do whatever you want with them, and whether you enter the car or not, it doesn't make a blind bit of difference. They've got your entry free. Anyway, 57 minutes to go. Not for the first time, Jeremy and I disagreeing on something. 57 minutes to go. We're back at a green flag, and oh my goodness, Connor Bloom coming out the final corner. It is not the day for the 18 car.
Another championship contender.
Aurora Strauss nerfed off by Alan Brynjolfsson.
Yep.
And now Connor Bloom finding himself this time. He did hit the barriers. He's got going, but there's debris all over the circuit. And I'm not sure whether that will be allowed to sit. The left rear suspension on that car looked pretty iffy to me. I'm not sure that's going to make a lap, but the head of the field, Robin Littell and Mark Miller, have started the fight already, just in case the yellow comes out. Mark Miller will be wanting to hold on to this, and in fact the 18 is stopped halfway up the start-finish straight. This will go back to full course yellow, but when will it come out, and can Mark Miller hold on? If they wait to throw the yellow until the end of the back straight, he might have already given up the lead here. He defends, parks the car in the middle of the corner. Brilliant piece of driving by Mark Miller, but now Robin Littell may be able to use the power, and there was contact, was there? Yes, there was. It was the Murillo 65 that turned that 18 car around. The 65 was Brett Mosing, who hit that car and spun him around. Now, did he get some help from the 26? maybe, I'm not sure. It was close, but it's just not great driving, I'm afraid, by those guys.
By either driver, frankly.
No.
Connor Bloom made the move to the inside, but he wasn't clear when he moved across to the outside on the exit, and he got tagged, and there is a full course caution. Well, thankfully, they called it caution because there's debris all over the track here.
He's done the right thing and got the car off the circuit, but I think there's too big a lump of Porsche. There's a headlight cluster that is in the middle of the road, and that is the issue. We've got the Cayenne safety vehicle coming to pick that up. Side by side into turn 20. All is good at this point, but Bloom just doesn't leave any room on the outside for Brett Mosing, who was taking the wide line, and then Brett doesn't do the simple thing to avoid that accident would have been to feather the throttle a tiny bit.
No, John. No, he's racing, and he's not allowed to go over that red and white curbing. He has to stay where he is, otherwise he's going to get called for a penalty. That was entirely Connor Bloom who should have avoided that incident.
Well, I think if
he's
you
the
drive
guy who's
into
making
the
the pass, and he's got to make the pass cleanly. He hadn't completed the pass.
You got to put some of the blame on the guy who drives into the back of you.
Yes, he could have driven off the racetrack. You're absolutely right.
Or he could have lifted. He just had to lift.
Yeah, but you're going to lift. You're going to get passed by everybody else when you're coming onto the front straight here. So no, his only choice, the choice he could have made, didn't need to lift. He could have just run wide over the curbing. But the drivers have been told very clearly they're not allowed to overstep that red and white curbing there on the exit. So he was doing what he had to do. If that had been a concrete wall, he'd have been striped against the wall. That's what effectively the drivers are told to treat that red and white curb, a painted area, as a wall. So most unfortunate and very, very unnecessary. You're right. They both could have avoided it. But
I have a suspicion that there'll be some people called to the headmaster's office after this race.
Yeah, and Connor Bloom, for me, has been one of the stars of this season in SD. Been absolutely magnificent. Had a pole, had a fastest lap, had a couple of top 5 finishes along with Aurora Strauss. And unfortunately, their race has come to a very, very early end. And that's 3 championship contenders who've had problems here in ST in not even, we're just over half distance in this race.
Yeah, Mark Miller, by the way, hung on to his lead before the full course yellow was thrown. The cars line up behind the safety car. Oh, dear me.
Not a great advertisement.
So, Mark Miller, Robin Liddell, Dylan Matchevin. So 33, 57, 28, 12. Trent Hindman in 4th position. 99, Rob Eckland Jr. in the Aston. Now they've had a decent run then. That's worked out well for them. 59, Dean Martin in 6th in the Ford. 76, Matt Plum in the McLaren in 7th. My goodness, those 2 McLarens have fallen down a long way. Cameron Lawrence in the 21. Nico Ronday in the, that's a Porsche. Nico Ronday in the McLaren 77. And then Chris Hall in the 7th McLaren. Hugh Plum having pulled out of the race. So this might help Guy Cosmo. I think he's dropped off the lead lap, hasn't he? Yes, he has.
Who?
Guy Cosmo.
Yes, he has, because when he came in to make that pit stop,
the race restart.
They weren't able to go fast enough to get around in order to leave him time to make the pit stop before the caution came out. Yeah, unfortunate there. Of course, if as things turned out, if they'd stayed out to pull on around with this caution period now, then they would have been able to make that pit stop and stay on the lead lap, but that's not the case. Hindsight 2020 on that one, but you're right. You know, there's 2 Compass Racing McLarens. They were running in the 1st and 3rd positions before this caution period, and now they're down in, well, they were in 8th and 9th. Now 7th and 9th, but yeah, it's all gone wrong for them. They've got very, very fast cars, and they're very, very fast drivers as well. So they're certainly very much in contention in this race. Matt Plum at the wheel, number 76 car. Nico Ronday driving the 77. But this is going to be a real battle when we get back to green, John.
Yeah, and while we've got the time, let's have a word with Matt Bell, who started the race in that number 57 Chevy. The Camaro now in second position, had a very, very competitive first run.
And Matt, those laps that you drove to start the race were the most laps you've driven this weekend, weren't they?
Yeah, I think they might have been the most laps I've driven ever in the car. So, you know, it's still a new car. It's unproven for us. It's unproven in the series, and I think it's off to a pretty good start here. You know, Robin's behind the wheel now. There's not many better people to put behind the wheel of a Camaro in sports car racing. So I'm very excited to see what he does.
So you think you have something for the Porsche then?
It's not the Porsche we're worried about as much, but I think, yeah, you know what? If we're top 5, if we wind up where we started, I think we'd be very happy.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
So, waiting for the cleanup to be completed. It is. There's no more damage. No more damaged Porsche on the circuit. Not good news at the moment for Mark Miller. The leading car dropped way back down, the 76, all the way down to 7th position. Matt Plum now.
It was 8th. Made up one position at the restart.
Yeah, in behind the 59 of Dean Martin now. So we know that's a quick car. And we know Matt Plum is an accomplished driver.
Certainly changed the complexion of the race absolutely and totally. In ST, Eric Foss did find a way past Tyler Cook at that just after the restart. So it's number 56 Murillo Racing Porsche came in ahead now of number 84 Bimmelwell BMW. Spencer Pompelli, the defending series champion, lurking there in 3rd position. Good stop as ever by the RS1 team. As we see, the number 37 Mini came out from behind the wall. And that car getting some service. It's right at the back of the pack, a long, long way down. It's only completed 5 laps. Everybody else has completed 26, or 25 in the ST class, because they're all 1 lap behind the GS leaders. But hats off to that LAP Motorsports team for getting that car back out onto the racetrack. So it's going to be Mark Miller who will lead at the restart. The lights were still on the safety car. Last time I saw it, at least, when a glimpse on screen. Robin Liddell, the veteran, in 2nd position. Dylan McCavan in 3rd place in car number 28 for the RS1 team. Trent Hinman has moved up to 4th now for Body Motion Racing. That's the car number 12. That's the series champion from a few years ago. Won 3 races last season in this car. And has also won the first race of this season as well at Daytona, so looking potentially his 2nd win of the season. Safety car. Oh, the safety car is in.
So coming back to the green flag, which is waved with some gusto, well up the start-finish line, and Mark Miller got on the throttle very early. Robin Liddell, though, uses the biggest engine in the field to drag up behind Mark Miller's 33 Porsche Fresno Cayman. CJ Wilson, dark grey machine then, off at the front of the field with Little in 2nd. Dylan Matchevin in 3rd position for the number 28 Porsche. That's the RS1 car. Then it's the 12 of Trent Hinman, the Body Motion Racing car. He's going to be a factor here. Aston Martin, Rob Eklund Jr., he's defending in 5th position. He's got Dean Martin and Matt Plum right in behind him in the Mustang and the black and silvery blue McLaren. And the battle is, well, the battle's all the way through the field after the restart. We got through to just about 45, 46 minutes without a full course caution, and we will go back green with 46 minutes on the circuit clock now. 77, Nico Ronde behind the wheel of that McLaren, making up positions as he pushes his way through past Cameron Lawrence. That's going to push him into 8th position, and he's right behind his teammate Matt Plum.
Side by side they were coming out of that corner, and then the straight line speed of the McLaren advantage takes effect on the next straight. Ooh, there's a huge slide.
Nate Norenberg with the very sideways 73 behind him, trying to make up some time. That's
Matt Pombo.
Matt Pombo, yeah. Nate Norenberg in the 53 ahead of him, so far too much of the side of that Mini. Got to remember to steer into the skid and get your foot down there. If you've been driving rear-wheel drive cars,
new race leader.
Oh, new leader. Through has gone Robin Liddell at the entrance to turn 15, and now Mark Miller heads a trio of Porsches. Liddell, very impressive indeed. Got through, actually must have got through just after the back straight, because he was shown in the lead at the end of the second sector. So Mark Miller goes from defending against a Chevy Camaro to 2 Porsches. Across the line, and the new leader then confirmed as Robin Liddell, a full second quicker than Mark Miller that time around, who eases the Porsche into the first corner, with Hindman into 3rd position now for Body Motion Racing. Matchman down to 4th, then Matt Plum in 5th now, has got by the Aston Martin. It's all starting to get hot up at the front end of the field. Pun absolutely intended. So Mark Miller, having lost a position now, just has to regain his composure as Dean Martin tries to go around Rob Eklund Jr. Aston versus Ford for 5th and 6th position. 3 Porsches together, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. It's Mark Miller for CJ Wilson. Trent Hinman for Body Motion. Trent Hinman there, and then the 28 is RS1. Those 3 cars really don't want to be tripping each other up here. Robin Liddell is off to the races. And surely now only a mechanical issue can stop that car taking its maiden victory in its debut race, following a rich trend of new cars coming in the race. The Mustang did exactly the same, did it twice in fact, didn't it? With 2 different forms of Mustang. Now the battle with the 84 Bimmerworld BMW. Tyler Cook has got right alongside Spencer Pumpelly. That's the battle for 2nd. Eric Voss has broken away from this battle. Pumpelly in the red and black Porsche, the black and white BMW, and then behind Pierre Kleinebing and Stephen McAleer.
Yeah, great pit stop there by the number 75 Compass Racing team. Has got Pierre Kleinebing right in the thick of the action. There's a spin for Stephen Simpson in that number 54 BMW.
Now, has he got it running the bright yellow car? I think he was helped into that, Jeremy. I don't think that was all done on his lonesome.
Fair bit of battling was going on there.
All of a sudden, everybody's...
Trent Hinman up to 2nd place.
Got past Mark Miller that last lap around. Now the cars... Do we reckon the cars were fueled to the end then from 45 minutes? They should be there or thereabouts, shouldn't they, with the amount of yellow that we've had?
With the amount of yellow, they might just be able to make it. I think it was still fairly close to the GS cars.
It was a nerf, and it was one of the Freedom Motorsport cars, the 27 car of Britt Casey Jr. 2 minis coming together behind them as well, the 52 and the 73. That's Nate Norenberg and Matt Pombo trying to avoid the spinning BMW. 27 car now with something hanging underneath the right front is coming into the pit lane. Well, that might be racing karma there, having tipped Stephen Simpson into the spin. He's recovered, Stephen, and he's moving again.
It's a shame. Been a really, really good run for JDC Miller Motorsports.
Yes.
Stephen's been turning some good laps as well. Mike, it was a great first hit by Michael Johnson. Really impressed.
Shea Adam is down there and can see the extent of the damage from what looked like a relatively innocuous ding with the BMW.
The right front wheel pointing far more right than the left one is, so that looks like broken suspension. But they are pulling the wheel off. They're going to take a look at this, and they have gotten a new tire ready. So the mechanics are looking at it. One guy reaches in, and then he gets up immediately to report to everybody else what needs to happen. They are going to try and fix the 27, though.
Yeah, and a change of position can confirm now. We've seen it with Trent Hinman ahead of Mark Miller and pulling away. And now Mark Miller is fighting the rear guard action with Dylan Matchover.
As Trent Hinman puts the pressure now on Robin Liddell. He's edging a little bit closer. He's purple in Sector 1, fastest of all in this race. A purple Sector 2, by the way, there for Nicholas Ronde in car number 77. That's the second of the Compass Racing McLarens. He's now on the tail again of Matt Plum, or almost on the tail of Matt Plum. But Matt Plum is in 5th place. But all of the top 5 pretty much nose to tail. This is going to be fun. 40 minutes remaining in this 2-hour race.
Stephen McAlee and Trent Hinman have the Lamborghini race to come, the Super Trofeo race to come as well. Unless they want to step aside, of course. So Liddell leads by 0.6 of a second from Hinman in second. Then the Mark Miller driven 33 Porsche Fresno Cayman, a CJ Wilson racing car. In ST, Eric Voss by 1.1 seconds, just being closed down a tiny little bit by Spencer Pumpelly last time.
Fastest lap of the race there by Nicholas Ronde, who's running in the 6th position for Compass Racing, a 20.671.
Let's go down to Jim Roller, who has an update on the number 54 car that has been in the thick of the action, the JDC Miller Motorsports car.
Actually, 2 updates for you, John. One, the 4-car, Guy Cosmo is sitting in the penalty box. Not quite sure what he did, but somebody wasn't pleased with his action, so he's been parked there for about 30 seconds. The 54 car, you know, they say in physics, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And Shea was noticing that on the 27 car, the right front tire was askew. Well, on the BMW, it was the left rear tire. And they looked it over and put a tire back on, sent him back around to the back of the garage area, and he crabbed his way back there. So he's done for the day. And now the 3 has joined the 4 in the penalty box as the 4 leaves.
Thanks, Jim. Jim Roller with that Continental Tire update from the pit lane, live from trackside. It's the Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge. 38.5 minutes to go. IMSA Radio and TV together, wherever you are in the world. This is another cracker. And keep the tweets coming into at IMSA Radio. We are watching them come in. Can't take a lot of time to answer all of them. Trying to get some of your question answered by the pit lane team, of course. With the action as fast as furious as it normally is here. So the leaders now coming out of the final corner, just to our right. Robin Liddell and Trent Hinman just about keeping their left-hand side Contis on the red and white curb. Now that is going to be a game of inches, because they cannot afford a drive through now. That will be curtains at this stage of the race. The interpretation that is being applied quite stringently here this weekend is 2 tyres on the red and white curb. A part of the tyres on the red and white curb. And if that's not the case, if you've gone all the way over, that is track limits and you will be called for it, and we've seen a lot of it. 28, Dylan Matchover, now right on the tailpipes, the very beautifully formed tailpipes of Mark Miller's Cayman.
Yeah, a great battle, but I want to see the battle for the lead, quite frankly, because Trent Hinman has been closing in, edging closer and closer to that Camaro. He's right with him right now, and the factor here now in this heat is the tyres and the weight of the cars. Robin Liddell defending the inside line and the braking at the end of the back straight.
Yeah, that's just going onto the back straight there, Jeremy, coming down the hill to 11. The biggest engined car in the field.
Indeed, and the weight of these 2 cars, the Camaro weighs in at 1495 kilograms, the Porsche Cayman at 1355.
And Hinman has the inside. It's very bumpy under braking. He's got the advantage. He should be able to make it unless Robin can tough it out round the outside, which he's trying to do. The horsepower just gets him up there. It's torque is your friend at this point. Through into the right-hander at 13, now 14 and 15. And great driving from both of these tremendously experienced race car drivers into 15. And Robin is clearly now fighting a rearguard action now that he's got that Trent Hinman driven number 12 Body Motion Racing Porsche right with him, right underneath that considerable rear aerofoil on the GT4 Camaro. As he turns down through 19. Oh, right off the track, were they very close indeed there? Did either of them get back on at the right time as Liddell goes wide? That's going to cost him some momentum up the hill. Will the torque save him again? Mark Miller's under pressure as well, but now it's from Matt Plum. Matt Plum alongside for third as Robert Liddell defends the lead, going up the hill into the first corner. Round the outside, the Porsche more nimble, later on the brakes. And is so close to the outside of the track. Comes down the inside at turn 2. This is either going to run all the way for the next 35 minutes or it's going to be swept up from the side of the circuit. I'm really not sure which it is. Both GS category champions. And the battle, and the McLaren now up to third. Yeah. Matt Plum up to third. So the leaders slowing themselves down at the moment, and this is going to be a three-way battle very shortly if Trent Hinman can't get through. And Matt Plum is saying thank you very much. As Dylan Matcheman's dropped back, Nico Ronde's right there. Ronde will want to get past the two Porsches ahead of him as well. No defensive line down at the bottom of the hill going on the back straight this time by Robert Liddell. He holds his line and he lets the big engine do its thing. Having said that, you would think that the Camaro makes a relatively large hole in the air for Trent Hinman to take advantage of. My goodness me though, Matt Plum is quick. And then there's two Porsches and a McLaren almost side by side, making it three wide for a moment. And here comes Nico Ronde diving down the inside of not one but two Porsches. And Ronde is now up into fourth position in the 77 car. Yeah. This is not over.
This is a great battle, isn't it? A great straight line speed for those McLarens, John.
Yeah, absolutely. So two of the newer cars in the championship battling against the body motion Porsche Cayman GT4, the original GT4 specification car that was homologated into the championship.
Boy, how much ground Matt Plum has made up on those two leaders this time. Robin Liddell adopting a defensive lines here. He's doing absolutely everything right. As long as he's moving proactively rather than reactively in his defense, that's no problem.
The other man who's got a bit of a wiggle on at the moment is the 59 Ford, 221.9 last time around. Only three cars in the 21s last time around, and that's the two McLarens, 76 and 77, and the 59 Ford. Now there's traffic coming as well. Now, didn't I tell you, don't leave before the end? 33 minutes exactly to go. Minis ahead that will need to be dealt with by Robert Liddell first in the 57 Stevenson Camaro. Then the Porsche of Trent Hinman. Then Matt Plum. How much would Matt Plum like to get on terms with the Stevenson Camaro? Remember the Rum Bum Racing guys when he was racing with his brother, when they gallantly tried to take a championship away from the Stevenson Camaro with work support in that little team. He wants to get those guys back, doesn't he?
Indeed, and Nick Longy before that as well. Yeah. So, Matt Plum is the most successful driver in the history of the Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge, despite the fact he didn't do hardly all last season. 22 wins to his name. He wants number 23, and he wants it to be the first win here for the McLaren.
Brilliant battle. It's going to be four-way fight any second now. And my money is at the moment on Matt Plum dragging up to these guys and going straight by them. I don't think he's going to want to hang around too long. He's got his teammate Nico Ronde. Nico knows a bit or two about driving.
Meanwhile, in ST, we've got a battle on for the lead because Eric Foss has been hauled in by Spencer Pampelli. There is a battle at the top of the hill. Pampelli right with Eric Foss. We've seen these two battling time and time again over the last few seasons. This is going to be a good one. Spencer Pampelli, the defending series champion, along with his teammate Nick Gallant, and Spencer and Eric Foss is a former champion in this series as well. So two champions here in almost identical cars, different teams, but embroidered in a battle for the lead. And that battle for third, it's a little bit back down the road. Pierre Klein-Newbing in the Compass Racing Audi has moved ahead now of both Stephen McAleer and Tyler Cook.
Yeah, and he's only 7.5 seconds away from the two leaders. He's not lapping quite as quickly at the moment.
Mainly because he had to get past those two on the last lap, perhaps.
Damage to the front of the 17 car of Spencer Pampelli, so he's had a bit of bump and grind. I think that was the kerfuffle with the 18 car coming out the final corner. He might well have picked up some damage there. Although I thought he was maybe further up the field than that. Don't know. Oh, very close to being off the circuit there by Erik Foss. Running his tyre dangerously close to the edge of the track. And it's coming back on. You could do some damage there. Now, 3 cars together at the top of the hill at turn 1. Robin Liddell in the 57 Camaro, the Porsche number 12 of Trent Hinman, and Matt Plum in the McLaren GT4 ×3 front-engined and 2 mid-engine cars. Make that 3 mid-engine cars because Nico Ronde in the 77 Compass 360 McLaren is going to be on them in a moment. And the 360 guys, it's where Jim Roller is at the moment, are cheering every bit of this charge back through the field after a frankly slightly longer pit stop than they would have wanted. But they have made back the ground on the racetrack. This is a great drive by Ronde and by Matt Plum. 4-way back to the lead.
Yeah, a great drive also by Robin Liddell. His brand new car for the team. They've done just a couple of days of testing. They had some problems yesterday with the transmission overheating. But Robin Liddell, he's having to use all of experience here to maintain that advantage.
Robin Liddell having to muscle a Camaro at the end of a race which is running out of grip while being hassled by a more nimble car. We've seen that before, haven't we? I've read that script, I'm sure. 30 minutes to go. Little lock up for the leader in ST. Erik Foss just nips the front left-hand side of the left-hand Continental on that number 56 car as he goes up the hill, just feathering his brake as he turns in. Top 4 together. Oh, there's a touch from Trent Hinman at turn 15 onto the back of the Camaro. Robin Liddell struggling to keep that car on the straight and narrow. Or the straight and very wide, in fact, through turn 18 now. And this is a bold move by Hinman to try and get down the inside into 19. And Matt Plum in the 76, the blue.
He's chucked it down there.
He's chucked it in at 19. And they've both got very, very wide. And Liddell's off the track. Liddell's off the track, comes back on now. And through goes Hinman at 20, and here comes Plum. Plum's going through in a second if he gets the run here. Liddell immediately dives to the left-hand side of the track, but Plum goes further over. Robin can't move any further now. Plum comes through. 1, 2, 3 wide across the line, and behind them Nico Ronde is having a sniff around as well.
Yes.
And for the lead, maybe. This is Plum from 3rd to the lead. He's got his nose ahead. The McLaren leads it, and this time it's the body motion car that's off the track. That's extraordinary, and the only one of those 3 cars who stayed on the track all the way is the car that now leads. The car in 2nd went off at the exit of turn 1, and the car in 3rd went off at the exit of turn 19. Extraordinary run from Matt Plum, and he took no time at all, exactly as I thought. He got there and thought to himself, oh, I've got half a chance here. Oh, look, I'm in the lead.
Brilliant stuff. And also look at this battle here for ST, absolutely side by side all the way through the complex there. Number 56 car Erik Foss just about holds on ahead of Spencer Pumpelly, but with 27 minutes remaining, whoa boy, this is going to be this is a cliffhanger. It's fantastic stuff. But you mentioned very briefly Nicolas Ronde. He's closed in on those 3 leaders. He set the fastest lap of the race. Does he have anything for first of all, he's got to get past 2 other cars. Then can he track down his teammate Matt Plum?
I'm going for a lying down in a darkened room now. You look after the last 27 minutes, Jeremy. The leaders in ST come out of the final corner across the line as they come to it now. Remember as well, Jeremy, there's a long run to the finish line here, so we could get all kinds of argy and, if you will, bargy in the final corner on the final lap. And we've got McLaren's 1st and 2nd. McLaren's are 1st and 2nd. Nico Ronde has sneaked through. He's ahead of Trent Hinman. So Plum now leads. It's the 2 360 cars, and there's a cheer from behind Jim Roller. Now, where did that happen? It's Ronde coming out of the final corner. Well, was it the same move that Matt Plum played to go from 3rd to 1st? But Ronde's definitely in the lead. Brilliant manoeuvre from Matt Plum to go from 3rd up the inside. Had to go a long way to the left. Robin Liddell took right, took him across, but then moved no further. That's really fair driving by Robin Liddell. One of my pet hates, as everybody knows, is people being eased into the pit wall. Robin Liddell went right into the middle of the grid marks and no further. He held his line once he got there. Really fair driving by the Scotsman. Through into second now, Nico Ronde, as the two Compass 360 cars set sail. Could be a banner day for them. Can they get Pierre Kleinebing onto the podium as well in ST? He's only 0.8 of a second behind Stephen McAleer, and he's lapping at a reasonable place.
And the McLarens, they've had 30 kilos of weight added since Sebring to try and bring them on a par with the other, particularly the Porsche Caymans in this class, but they've shown great straight line speed here all weekend long. They've been the fastest cars through the speed trap, and despite the extra weight, they've obviously got very, very good acceleration as well.
Robin Liddell has fought the good fight that Mark Miller fought earlier, but they have been caught and passed. First by Trent Hinman. What a drive he has put in there. Now by the two McLarens who have come from nowhere. Robin Liddell with his hand out of the window, trying to get some air onto his left hand there. I wonder if something's gone wrong in the inside of that car. Shea Adam, what can you tell us about the Stevenson car?
Well, because it's so new, they haven't yet had time to develop a cooling system within the car, and because it has windows, it gets very warm in there. And actually, talking with Matt earlier, he said that he started doing that on the back straight, and what a difference it made. Recommended the same thing to Robin over the radio.
Right, just trying to get a little bit more air into the car and cool off some blood. The ST battle, by the way, is still cracking along with Eric Voss, Spencer Pumpelly. Stephen McAleer is only 5.2 seconds further back.
He's more than that because
he's 10 and a half back. Yeah. But Pierre Kleinebing is right on him now, and that's the third spot on the podium for ST. So the Compass 360 guys, first and second in GS, and therefore overall, and fourth at the moment in ST, but about to start pressuring for third position. The Mazda of Stephen McAleer will not be an easy target. It will not be easy prey. Leaders go past us in GS. I wonder if they might catch the ST lead again as well, which will be very interesting. ST leaders are just heading down, and here's the dive down the inside into turn number 11. Brilliant move, and done. Spencer Pumpelly doesn't run out on that. Was very fair by Pumpelly again. He didn't run right out and cut away, which is exactly what Jeremy was saying before, and that has allowed Eric Voss to come back to him.
What a great battle it is between these two. These two have been battling with these cars now for, what, 3 or 4 years, and they love it every minute of it.
Aston Martin number 3 in the pit lane. That is Chris Wilson who brings it in.
He's made a bunch of pit stops.
Yeah. So not sure what was going on there. That looked a clean overtake by Spencer Pumpelly. Got down the inside, led through the apex of the corner, but then appeared not to use all the road on the exit. He's not getting fuel surge issues or anything like that, is he? We've seen Spencer Pumpelly get very close on fuel in the past. And a new third position. Pierre Kleinebing in third position. A quick flash of orange, black and silver behind them. Now he's 10.5 seconds back from those two Porsches who surely aren't working together at this point. There's still 22 minutes to go. Maybe they are. Voss from Pumpelly. Matt Plum has Nico Ronde now almost within striking distance as the Compass 360 Audi S3 sedan comes into my view, with Stephen McAleer now in 4th, Tyler Cook in 5th in the 84 Bimmer World BMW. Andrew Carbonell
is not far back either.
Yeah, no, he's not, and he's coming at a race of knots now, Tyler Cook. Can Pierre Kleinebing keep the tyres under the Audi? All-wheel drive, of course, the legendary Audi Quattro. 56 still leads Eric Voss in the Murillo Motorsport, Morsey Motor Cars. Cayman with the 17 RS1 car. Can we get something out of this race for RS1 with Aurora Strauss and Connor Bloom both having accidents, as Robin Liddell now has to deal with Dylan Matchoven in the number 28. That is another one of the RS1 cars.
Absolutely side by side they were across the line that time, just 5,000ths of a second between them as they crossed the start-finish line. And look at Trent Hinman, has he got a fresh head of steam in that car? Number 12 in third place, he's closed in onto the tail again now of Nico Ronde.
More problems for the 73 Mini across the start-finish line. Those electrical gremlins still hampering the progress of a car that should have been in that battle at the head of ST. It's refired on the start-finish straight and continues, but I think that car's going to have to be parked. It would be a crime, wouldn't it, for that car to stop somewhere where it needs to be recovered and deprive us of a green flag finish to this race. I'm pretty certain at the moment Robin Liddell would be absolutely delighted to see a full course yellow.
Yeah, give the tyres a bit of a breather, as Dylan McCavan there has a hard time getting around number 52 Mini.
Oh, he got a bit of a hip check there and went all the way off the circuit. That was at the final corner. Well, he was already all the way off the track at turn 19, to be honest. He tried to go the long way around again. Not the smartest of driving there. In the battle for position. When you're in a battle for position in Robin Liddell, you don't really want to give him an opportunity to get back on the inside. That 52 Mini Nate Nuremberg driving that car got engaged to his fiancée this weekend here at turn 1. Good fella. Another little lock up on that left front Continental Tire for the leader in ST, Eric Voss in the 56. Murillo Motorsport, the black and bright orange car. He's just catching it every time or every other time now once you get the flat spot there. 3 leaders are close as they've ever been, I think, John, as they come
I'd agree
with that. I'd agree with that.
Heading up the hill towards turn 1.
It's the 2 McLarens of C360R, and then Trent Hinman 7/10 away, 1.1 seconds separating the leaders. Love the way the Caymans dangle the inside front wheel through the S's, by the way, and the leaders with the number 81 BMW right ahead of them. That's the Bimmer World car that is running in the top half dozen or so of ST. Needs to stay out of the way and does.
Ronde does a good job there to force his way through and maintain contact with his teammate and the race leader, and Trent Hinman follows him through as well.
Trent Hinman, I think, sees an opportunity. There's still 18 minutes to go here, Jeremy, and we've seen before what can happen. I just wonder if Trent Hinman was playing a little bit of a tactical game with the Continental tyres earlier on and just easing back a little bit. These 2 McLarens have had to do a lot of passing. Oh, Hinman way off the circuit, coming onto the back straight. Now that was all 4 wheels off by a very long way. He won't be able to do that very more times before that starts to...
It's like he might have eased off there to make sure he doesn't gain an advantage.
Well, yes, that would be smart.
If you can prove that he didn't gain an advantage by doing so, I think that's what he's done, because all of a sudden, look, he's about 3 seconds back.
That was very smart. If you, that's always, it's always better to do that and look like you're playing the game, doesn't it? Because that's far better than getting a drive-through. A drive-through at this stage with the top 10 cars still under 9 cars still under 20 seconds between them. So it's still very much on there. And a drive-through now for anybody would be a disaster. And what's interesting is Robin Liddell now has dropped back to Mark Miller, and they're battling for 5th and 6th. Mark Miller a bit quicker last time around by 0.8 of a second. So I wonder if the 33 car is getting a bit of a second lease of life. The next thing we've got to ask ourselves, Jeremy, is the fuel question. Turn 1 for the ST lead down the inside. Spencer Pumpelly saw the lock-up again by Eric Voss. Voss this time off the circuit. He'll have to give that back. He'll have to give it back. He ran wide, all 4 wheels off. Eric Voss beaten to the apex by Pumpelly and stays in the lead by driving off the circuit. Now that will be being looked at. The rule that we've been told is wheels on the red and white painted curb, but not beyond. Now he's playing a very, very dangerous game here with Pierre Kleinebing having taken just about a second out of them in the last lap or so. Can't afford a drive through here. So the team now, if the team have got any sense, they'll be asking race control, do you want to give us, do we want to give that position back? Because they can't afford a drive through at this point. It would take them out of the battle for the lead, might even lose them, it would lose them second position.
Who? It would lose them, put them to the back of the pack. Completely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that battle continues. And again, it's down the inside, under brakes. Here comes Spencer Pumpelly at the end of the back straight. Oh, Pumpelly, and again, the leader is off the track now. He'll argue there, he was ushered off by Pumpelly. Pumpelly drops back.
They both slowed right down, look.
They don't know what to do. This is like an RC race. I've seen this in RC racing.
Where's Pierre Kleinebing?
He's not that far away.
He's not quite close enough, I don't think, is he?
I've seen this happen in RC racing, radio controlled racing, when there's a coming together, and it's an unwritten but very well agreed rule that if you have a coming together, you stop and wait for the guy who you've knocked off to go back past. And the problem is, if he's got an issue, you don't know whose fault it is. You're both waiting before you get your hands on the sticks again. I think that was a bit after you, Claude, no, after you, Julian, wasn't it? Big sideways slide by Spencer Pumpelly.
That's brilliant.
Right. Oh, he's off the track again, the leader. He's not going to keep getting away with this, Eric Voss.
I'll tell you what, Spencer, in the drivers' meeting this morning, Spencer Pumpelly was the guy who was asking the most questions of the race director, Karl Novak, and he got all the answers that not necessarily that he wanted, but he got the answers, and he was told in no uncertain terms, you cannot gain any sort of advantage if you go off the racetrack. Because Spencer was adamant, hey, why did you change the rules? A couple of years ago, I think even last year, there was no policing of this track limits. He said, why change it? So he was very vocal about that, but Karl Novak stood his ground, the race director made his point, and Spencer said, okay, right, we know exactly how we have to play the rules of this race.
Jim Roller, I was speculating a little while ago about fuel. You've been asking some of the teams, I presume. What can you tell us?
Well, remember when we talked in our pre-race countdown to green that some of these guys said it was going to be 2 and a splash. The cautions, I checked in with the 360R McLarens. They think they can make it, but it is going to be very, very, very tight.
Right.
Yeah, even with all that caution, wow. The second caution, oh no, there was still 46 minutes to go, weren't there? We went back to green, and they've done what at that stage 5 laps of caution and 1 of green. So yeah, it certainly isn't plain sailing here.
No, agreed.
Can't not think about it.
Yeah, the McLarens have been pushing very hard indeed.
Guess what?
Guess what?
Side by side.
Again, same result. Leader in ST off the track. Spencer Pumpelly. Well, you know, Spencer's going to be on the phone saying to the guys, come on, what's happening here? Eric Voss. The only way that Eric is keeping the lead at the moment is driving off the circuit. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. And if that's what the...
Yeah, but he was ushered off though, wasn't it, a couple of times?
Well, they could be both in, couldn't they? Yeah, Kleinebing could win this, yeah?
I must admit, that is why I have to side with Spencer and just let us race. If we can use whatever's paved out there.
Big moment for the 56 car coming out of 18 and towards the left-hander at 19. And again, long way towards the edge. Now, there's double red and white curbs there, which sort of blurs the whole situation again. At the moment, Pierre Kleinebing isn't gaining on them, but he's had to allow some faster cars through in the last couple of laps, which is exactly what's happening to this battle for ST as the 28 goes through. Dylan Matjevan, who is in 4th position now. 2 wheels on the curb, fine. No wheels on the curb, i.e. all wheels beyond curb, not fine. It's not the white line at the edge of the track. That's the key point. So 11 minutes to go. Here's how it stands. Matt Plum for the 76 360R, Compass 360R, C360R, Compass Racing as was, by 1.4 seconds from his teammate Nico Ronde, the 77 car. 8/10 further back, Trent Hindman just menacingly sitting there, not challenging at the moment, but not losing any ground either. Third position then for Hindman. He's got 6.1 seconds on Dylan McEvan, the 28 Porsche, the RS1 car, in fourth position, and now only 3 seconds behind Robin Liddell, and Robin Liddell less than a second ahead of Mark Miller in the 33 Porsche. So those three, fourth, fifth and sixth, beginning to come back together again.
Indeed, and the weight of that Camaro is definitely weighing literally upon the Continental tyres, and Robin Liddell is struggling to maintain pace with that car, but it's still been a tremendous battle and a great drive by Robin. He's really driven, I think, extremely well this race. A brand new car, hardly any testing at all, and some problems as well during the weekend. So to drive the race, he's done it being perfectly clean. And has really done an excellent job. They'll be disappointed with this 5th place, but you know, this is one of the factors of this series. That it's horses for courses. It's so hot here, that does not play into the favour of this very heavy Camaro, nor the Ford Mustang. It's a little bit farther back with Dean Martin at the wheel, the car number 59 in 7th place. But we get to some other tracks, if it's a bit cooler, then you know, it will pay more to that to the benefit, to the strengths of those cars.
Live from trackside, IMSA Radio and TV, talking to the world from COTA, the Circuit of the Americas. It's the IMSA Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge. Racing on a Friday afternoon, looking absolutely picture perfect. Clear blue sky, sunshine, perfect temperatures, and hot racing on the circuit. Another little lot up there by Eric Voss, as he's in behind Dean Martin now in the 59 Ford Mustang. These two leaders, Spencer Pumpelly and Eric Voss, actually the other way around, Spencer Pumpelly in second and Eric Voss leading. 56 leads 17, 2 Caymans. Pierre Kleinebing now has stopped gaining on the 2 Porsches ahead. He's level at about 10 seconds ahead behind them. He's got about a second on Stephen McAleer, who closed in about half a second last lap around. Andrew Carbonell in another Mazda. That's 25 and 26 Mazda sitting in 4th and 5th position. Then Tyler Cook in 6th, another 2 seconds further back. I tell you what, there's still plenty going on in that ST class. If anybody gets called for a penalty at the head of the field, the top 7 have less than 20 seconds behind them. In fact, the top 8's only in 22 seconds.
Yeah, and another little note here, the race leader just had a 1:21.7 last time around, which is the quickest lap he's turned since, well, the 2nd or 3rd lap after the restart. I wonder whether he's been given the all clear by the team that he's good to go with on fuel now. Just 7.5 minutes remaining in this race. His lead over 2nd place now is out to over 2 seconds ahead of its teammate. That's Nico Ronde in 2nd place. There's a gap between the 2 McLarens, and Trent Hindman is still pushing really, really hard in that body motion. Car number 21 in 3rd position, trying to get onto the tail of Nico Ronde. He's onto the tail of him right now as they come through the final corner, almost touching wheels as they come across out of the corner on that lap.
Just wonder who is going to have the tyre performance left at the end of this race. Credit Continental, by the way. I think this is brilliant.
Yep.
This is a very, very difficult track. It has high degradation because it's a relatively low grip track. The tyres move around a lot. And we've seen very, very different cars at different weights, different performance levels, just at different size of engines. And they are still performing pretty similarly towards the end of the race, and it's drivers who have been making the difference. Shea Adam, any sign of a blink down in the pit lane? Hang on a second, I'll come back to you in just a sec, because Nico Ronde is fighting a rear guard action at the moment. Trent Hindman has all of a sudden pressed the attack button on the steering wheel of the 12 body motion Porsche, and he's forcing Nico Ronde to take different lines now. That's allowed Matt Plum to take a second and a half out of this battle. They're on the back straight now, and the McLaren pulls away. Shea.
We thought it was good fortune that the 33 made it in before the flag and everybody else. Unfortunately means that they're going to have to come back in and do a splash before the end of the race, John.
Ah, good point. Yes, they were the first cars in, and the pits were closed for quite some time, weren't they? So this battle for second continues. There will be all kinds of calculations going on up and down the pit lane now in GS. And the ST guys should be fine. They're pitted with about 50 minutes to go, and they will be able to go to the end as long as everybody got full fuel in the tanks. But these guys who pitted at 55 minutes, 60 minutes to go, issue. If you remember, the 33 car pitted with about 45 minutes gone, because that's when the full course yellow came out. So they've been out there a very, very long time indeed.
It's an extra couple of laps.
Oh, off has gone the number 4, Guy Cosmo. Guy Cosmo off, and the GT4 TGM Club Sport MR will not finish. Guy Cosmo has come to a halt.
33 car on pit lane. He was a lap down in 10th position. Also number 21 car on pit lane as well. And other than the Porsche Caymans, does Trent Hinman have enough juice to get to the end? He's certainly putting a heck of a lot of pressure onto Nico Ronde.
21, Cameron Lawrence in the pit lane. Jim Roller.
Yeah, I think it's the same situation as the 33 had. Just going to be a splash and go. Crew comes over the wall. Up goes the bonnet, in goes the fuel receptacle. 33 is what you hear going by me. He's headed back out onto the racetrack after his fuel stop, and 21's back underway.
And Shea Adam was watching the 33, didn't take much fuel.
No, it took 4 seconds worth of fuel. That's how short they were. So it looked like that pit lane entry was going to be a blessing. Not so much.
Curse for both of their cars then, making that call. Little bit of bump and run from Trent Hinman as Nico Ronde in second place was trying to stand him up, coming onto the back straight there. Leader now 4 seconds ahead. This is a good run by Matt Plum.
And I don't believe it won't be I don't think it'll be the green flag this time around.
White flag.
White flag, I should say.
Just a question, which one of those 2 McLarens are doing better in the championship? Is it the 76 car by any chance? Or are they neither of them doing that well?
Yeah, they both got a bit of ground to make up. Not a lot of difference between them, to be honest.
Just a thought, and Jim and I had it at the same time, is whether Nico Ronde is just trying to back up Trent Hinman a little bit to let Matt Plum get away. And maybe...
No, I think he's on fuel save mode, John.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Matt might be just going to ease back. He's going to have to do one more lap, I think.
Well,
no, he's not.
No, he's not.
If he slows down now, he won't have to. And that could be another reason. The white flag is out, and he was not up to full speed as he came out of there. He was timing that. That's a brilliant piece of timing if they've worked that to their advantage. So that might be exactly what was happening. Carl Thompson working it back from the finish. That man has got a mind like a steel trap. In ST, Eric Voss, amazingly, is still ahead of Spencer Pumpelly. Pierre Kleinebing hasn't gained on them. In fact, it's gone out to 11.5 seconds. Stephen McAlee are desperately trying to get his 3rd place back in the Mazda number 25. He's just 7/10ths back in 4th position. What a finish this is going to be.
It's the biggest gap between those 2 ST leaders. Pretty much, well, certainly since the restart.
Jim Roller has just been talking to the Compass 360 guys.
I said, did you make that call to tell him to slow down? He just started to laugh. He goes, I don't know. I don't think the radio's working.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You didn't actually slow down as much as it
Ron did. He was 2 seconds. He was 2 seconds slower on that lap.
Correct.
Matt Plum wasn't. but Rondé was. Now, let's see what Spencer Pumpelly has left in the tank. Those two Porsche Caymans are beautiful to watch through the S's. They are flat drifting all the way through there. Matt Plum, Nico Rondé now with, well, the biggest gap we've seen for a wee while. But Rondé very slow through the apex of turn 11 through 12, 13 and 14 now. Heading towards turn 15. That tightening left-hand hairpin where you take a very odd line. Got to be careful when you're racing that you don't leave the inside open, and that's what Trent Hinman was looking for there. Gets a very good drive out of it. This is the final lap of the IMSA Continental Tire SportsCar Challenge here at the Circuit of the Americas. It's been another cracker. Some of the real favourites have fallen by the wayside, particularly in the ST categories, but at the head of the field, it's looking very much like a 1-2 for Compass 360, and Carl Thompson's team are on the pit wall. They're getting ready to celebrate for Matt Plum, who brings the 76 car home. He's cruising to victory. Paul Holton did his bit in the first part of the race. It looked like they may have thrown it away at the pit stop. Rondé makes it a 1-2. Matt Keegan did his bit from the start of the race. The podium made up by the Body Motion Porsche of Trent Hinman and Cameron Castles. Let's hear from Paul Holton.
Well, you can hear the happy crew cheering, and Paul is just absolutely elated. You told me you were close on fuel, and I guess you made it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but oh, Matt, that was a mega stint there at the end. The pass for the lead, two of them into turn one, played perfectly, run off the last corner. It was absolutely fantastic. You know, Nico did a great job holding off Trent. Win-win for Compass Racing all around. Pierre is in P3 right now with the Audi. This is freaking awesome.
All right, let's go to see who's going to win ST.
ST is going to be close, but it's going to go to Eric Voss at least across the line. No penalties that we've heard of there. Voss wins it from Spencer Pumpelly, half a second behind, in second position. And
drag race for third.
Drag race for third. Drag race for third, and I can't see it as they go up the pit straight now. Pierre Kleineming wins it by 0.83 of a second. Third place by 0.083 of a second, and it is a third C360R car on the podium, but by the smallest of margins. Magnificent stuff. Down to Shea Adam.
Jeff Mosing, you are happier than a kid on Christmas. This was a hard-fought win, though. How did Voss stay ahead of Pumpelly?
You know, those guys love to race each other. They race each other clean, and I admire that team for that. You know, we love racing those guys. Hats off to Voss. Hats off to the team for giving us. They got us in third. I came in third, and we were out in first. You know, they really are on it on the pits. I think that's a key deal. It's a team effort. And you know, the Continentals were working good for us, a little bit better than back in September, but it still was an issue. You could see Pumpelly was working his pretty hard. I'm just really happy for this team. It's incredible to be able to repeat here at my home track, you know. Kind of speechless. I mean, it's incredible. It's really hard to repeat at any track with this series. It's so competitive. So hats off to the guys. Thanks to IMSA for putting on such a great series.
Well, enjoy the celebration, but don't drink too much champagne. You still got another race.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Where's he going to find the energy to do that? Let me, while Jeremy's doing a quick bit of arithmetic to give you some championship points, let me run down what we can tell you as the cars cross the line at least. In ST, Porsche, the 56 from Murillo Racing, the Mosing Motorcars machine, sponsored machine, takes the victory. Murillo Racing, Jeff Mosing and Eric Voss in the 56 car, both local, very local in Jeff's case, from Austin. Spencer Pumpelly for RS1 with Nick Gallant did a fantastic job in an up and down day for RS1. They are in second place, and Pierre Kleineming brings the 75 C360 Audi S3 Saloon sedan home after a brilliant first run by Roy Block and genius pit work by the C360R guys. In ST, that was in ST, and here's the points
points in the GS
Oh, well, let me give
category.
you the GS podium then. Trent Hinman in third with the body motion car, the number 12 machine that he shares with Cameron Castles. He was 1.3 seconds away from second Nico Ronde for Compass 360R, the 77 car that he shares with Matt Keegan. And 4 seconds up the road was Matt Plum in the 76 car. Now, in fairness, that Paul Holton and Matt Plum car had led pretty impressively, but they really need to work on that pit stop, because that cost them a lot of time. Had not been under yellow, they would have been in real trouble. It was under yellow, they made it back on pace, and here's how the championship stands in GS.
Cameron Castles and Trent Hinman will retake the championship lead, the winners of the first round at Daytona. With this third place finish today, they will have 86 points. On 80 points will be Mark Miller and Till Bechtolsheimer. Despite that late pit stop for a splash of fuel, they finished in 8th place, so they'll be 6 points behind going to the next round. 1 point behind them, Nico Ronde and Matthew Keegan, who will gain the extra point for the fastest lap here today. And then in 4th place will be tied Paul Holton and Matt Plum with the victory today, and Dylan Murcott and Dylan McCavan. So great run there. It's super close. 10 points covering all 5 cars, and just 2 points behind them will be Russell Ward and Damien Faulkner with that non-finish today.
Yeah, not a great weekend for CJ Wilson, the Porsche Fresno team. Not able to capitalise on the early pace, and a very scary looking accident for Russell Ward. Good news is he did get out of the car okay. We'll try and find out a little more. Let's have some final words from our Continental Tire pit lane team, Shea Adam and Jim Roller. Another cracker, Shea, down there. Plenty of excitement in the sunshine this afternoon.
A lot of happy faces down here, especially with those C360R cars. I joked last week with Carl Thompson, it was his birthday, that his boys should give him some nice hardware for it as a present, and man, did they deliver today.
Jim Roller, tactically, the yellows didn't really make that much of a difference. What we really had was just 2 45-minute blasts.
That's exactly what it did, John. It allowed us just to see 2 45-minute stints, for lack of a better term. And it was great racing in the first 45, and even better racing in the second 45. So the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge continues to deliver. As I look here at as the cars that have gathered at the end of the race, and very tired Spencer Papelli is just kind of leaning on his car, thinking what might have been.
Still don't understand why he when he got by at 11, why he didn't make that stick. Before we go, we'll leave you with the ST points. We'll give you the GS points. Here's the ST points.
Yeah, the championship leaders coming into this weekend were Nick Gallant and Spencer Pumpelly. With a second place finish today, they will have 97 points. Our race winners today, Jeff Mosey and Eric Foss, with the victory today, will have 97 points also. So a tie for the lead in the ST category.
My thanks to Shea Adam and Jim Roller, our Continental Tire pit lane reporters. Johnny Palmer was our executive producer back in London. Thanks for looking after everything there, Johnny. It was Jeremy Shaw and John Heindorf in the booth. Well, if that was your first experience of Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge, let me tell you, it's pretty much always like that. So make sure you join us the next time. It'll all be live on IMSA TV and IMSA Radio. Bye for now.